morning, good evening. Welcome to this week's chat. One of the things I really wanted to talk about is the importance of understanding that tech is not always the problem with our live streams. Now, I'm not saying that tech is not important. It is. We're live streaming. We need some technology for that. We need a stable upload and download. We need reliable device to live stream from. We need something to make our thumbnails with. It's not that the tech is not important, but I don't know if it's always everyone's problem when it comes to live streaming. It's what people use as their excuse. It's what people say is the problem. But when you go digging, when you start looking deeper into why and how, they've probably got the tech. It may not be exactly what they want. They might want the super duper stuff that their favorite YouTubers have got. But you don't need that. You can do it without it. If you've got a phone, like a decent phone in the last, 5-year-old phone, you could probably make it happen. So let us have a look here in the chat. Now, I just want to give everyone a quick heads up. I've been shuffling around my studio, lifted some dust. I'm allergic to dust. So this is awesome. So on lots of antihistamine medication and lots of sneezing, I have tissues ready. I've got coffee. I've got water. I've got everything I need, I think. Can't guarantee it. So I have antihistamine brain, which is awesome. I love it. It's my favorite. So let's jump into the chat here, see who's here. Live stream consultants was here first. Are you ready to rock the tube? Yes, I am. I am ready to rock the tubes today. Push that button, Maxine. I was actually going to, I had something I was going to reply back that I was like, no. And then I saw the blob. The other thing I've noticed is, Doug, is it just me or has the blue changed? Is it a paler blue or is it just my eyes seeing a paler blue? I don't know. So here, next, you can see tiny little blue dot next to Doug's name there. But in the chat, it's on the login that I'm currently using, I can see the blue blob. And I know some of you will see the spanner and some of you will see the blob. For some reason, I thought the blue was nearly a purple before and now it's more blue. I don't know. I'm going to do some screenshots. And actually, I might just quickly grab one now. Command Shift 5. The blob makes it look paler. Maybe. Oh, thank you, Doug, for putting that in. Sorry. I hate snifflers, and I just realized I did that. More noticeable due to the size? Possibly. It could possibly be that. All right. I'm very sorry for people that don't like to see people using tissues and wiping their nose, and it's going to be a bit of that today. So if that's not you, then now is the time to bail. Okay. Where is the band hammer? It is not on the wall. I don't have one. And with the blob coming in, I could possibly stick a shield there, I suppose. There's a bit of a gap, bit of a space there that I could hang something. Do I want to do that? No. No, I don't want to hang a shield, that blobby shield on my wall. No. Oh dear. Oh, the Amazing Yacht Destination says it's now the shield on this account as well. Maybe it's rolled out. Maybe the horror has happened and it's rolled out to all the accounts because it was tested on a few accounts. It seems to be here. It just... Doug says that a poll on his channel has said that the more people are seeing the shield now. Okay. Just do not projectile sneeze all over the camera lens. I'm really going to try not to. I'll try really, really hard not to do that. A lot. Okay. So let's just jump into the topic a little bit. So, like as I said in that beginning sort of, spiel, I'm not saying the tech is not important. I'm just saying I don't think the tech could possibly be your problem. Now, for some people it might be. But for the majority of people, especially people who are already making videos, the tech is not the problem about your live streaming as long as you've got the uploads. So the things that I think that are the problem, the things that I think that people are getting stuck on and then using the tech as the catch-all excuse is I think finding topics to live stream about is tricky. And I'm going from my personal experience, okay? So if you're a gamer and you are streaming the same games over and over again, you're going to notice that you might want to try, you're going to be trying to change it up, you're going to be trying to make your stream interesting. It's the same sort of thing. You're finding a topic that your audience is interested in, that they're going to engage in for this either pre-selected or indeterminate amount of time. You need to be able to keep their interest. You need to be able to get the click, get them into your live stream and keep them there, just like a video. And I think there's a lot of people that are not treating their live streams, especially the thumbnail, the title, and your hook, they're not getting people in. And I've definitely done this and still continue to do it on occasion, not putting enough effort into my thumbnails for my live streams. Sometimes they are a little bit of a last minute sort of task. I'm not saying I don't do this stuff. I exactly do this stuff, which is why I know that this is really can be the issues for some people. And I'm not saying all of these things are your issue, but maybe one or two of them are. The other thing is the mental load that's going live, okay? So being prepared for conversation. So the chat, understand, and being like, you guys know me, shiny thing, moving object. The chat moves, I check it. That's how I roll. And you who've been here before, you understand that. I do get distracted by the shiny things. But being prepared that there could be conversation. Now, when you're very first starting live streaming, there may not be as much conversation. You have to be prepared to carry the entire stream. So there's both sides of the scale on this one. So there is being prepared to carry the stream entirely without talking to the chat because there is no chat, or being distracted by the chat because there is a chat. Both of these things can happen. And there is a happy ground in the middle. You can converse with the chat. You can not converse with the chat. And then you can totally just ignore that the chat exists. Now, if you are a person who is like me and does have shiny thing, and you do have something that you really want to make a point of, there's no reason you can't minimize the chat down so you can't see it scrolling. If you need to get something through, if you need to get something off your chest, or you need to make through your points or your talking points or whatever it is, you can minimize the chat temporarily and bring it back up. Now, I'm one of these people that if you're going to be doing a video and you don't intend on talking to the chat, even if they are there, does it need to be a live stream? Probably not. Probably not. Let's have a look here. This is the listening intently lull in the live chat. Yes, it is. Livestream Consultant says, live streaming has way more moving parts and nuances to run out of topics between all the camera, all the mics, all the different software, all the different formats, etc., etc. There is definitely tech involved, but I'm finding the people I'm talking to, when you really dig down to it, the tech is the excuse. It's not actually the problem. Because while you and I, Livestream Consultants, we tend to have, you know, I've got two mics right here. I can alternate between them. I've got different audio systems. If I have an issue, I've got the tech here to back up, right? And that's how I cope, is knowing I've got backups for my system. Not everybody has that. And some people are doing a very basic, like this stream right now is technically a very basic stream. I don't have multiple scenes. I'm not switching. I don't have stingers. I don't have anything like that. I'm just talking to you. And so I try to keep these streams pretty low key in that regard. I could go in and make them full-blown productions with checklists appearing on the screen and make them more, what's the word? Visually engaging. That could absolutely be a thing. And it would not take away from the stream. It wouldn't. But it takes my brain away from delivering, if that makes sense. So different things for different people and different audiences. Okay, so the next point is preparing for disagreeing voices. So what I want to point out here is there is a difference between a disagreeing voice and a troll. There is a huge difference. Absolutely. And you need, if you are live streaming, you need to be prepared for those people who just may not agree with you. They're not drinking your Kool-Aid, they're new here, or they're trying to encourage you to try something else, whatever. They're a disagreeing voice, they're not a troll. Now that you might need to watch their tone or their language or whatever, and just double check they're not pushing on any of your personal live streaming rules. But they are just a disagreeing voice, and disagreeing voices are not bad. However, trolls are. Trolls are bad. They don't deserve your time. They don't deserve your effort. The only thing that trolls deserve is a boot straight out of the live chat. That's it. That's all trolls do. That's all they deserve, is a boot straight out of the live chat. Now, there are some people that feel that they're a disagreeing voice, but then act like a troll. If you feel they're acting like a troll, you get to boot them. This is your live stream. This is YouTube. Okay, so let's just get this straight out of the way, because every time I talk about moderation or booting out trolls, whatever, I always get somebody in the comments coming in at me with freedom of speech. I just want to point out, YouTube is a private entity with its own terms of service and community guidelines. The freedom of speech is only valid up until that point. This is a private company. The US freedom of speech laws do not get to just run roughshod over every single video topic, everything on YouTube. Freedom of speech protects you from the government oppressing your speech. That's what freedom of speech does. YouTube is a private company with moderation rules, and us as streamers and content uploaders and channel owners, we have to abide by those rules. And you as the viewers and the people leaving comments, you also have to abide by those rules. So this is a big topic on a day where I've got a lot of antihistamine in my system. So I just really wanted to just get that out there and make that really, really clear. Freedom of speech doesn't count on YouTube as such. It is totally YouTube is a private company, and freedom of speech is about the US government. Okay. Yeah, Doug's got it right here. Don't come into my house and insult and abuse me. You're gonna get kicked out. Absolutely. Absolutely. Doug says, sometimes I disagree, but I never troll. Yeah. And disagreeing voices are totally fine. They build conversation. They build discourse. They help us learn, right? They help everybody to learn. If every single person agrees, there's usually no real reason to expand your knowledge. But disagreeing voices help you to learn, and they help you to grow. Trolls don't deserve any of that effort or time. Okay, I'm gonna have a sip of coffee after that one. Goodness me. Okay, yeah, so I have no time for trolls. I have zero time for trolls. And I will have a conversation with a disagreeing voice because I want to understand where they're coming from. So the other things that are mental loads for while you're live streaming is keeping the live interesting, keeping the topics going, keeping people watching and enjoying it and not feeling like, why am I even here? Seriously, why am I watching this? I don't even know. So keeping it interesting, keeping it engaging, keeping it fun or light or whatever it is, that, because obviously it's all going to depend on the kind of content that you do. All of this is prefaced with the kind of content that you do. If you are one of these live streamers that encourages the negative chat, then you get what you get, okay? If you are somebody trying to create a really fun, engaging, educational space, it's up to you to set the tone, all right? So, but also keeping it lighthearted and keeping it interesting, and you know, I suppose lighthearted's not always hand in hand with interesting, but you know, do you know what I mean? Does that make any sense whatsoever? It possibly didn't. So let me know in the chat. So the other thing is understanding when to end a live stream. Now, this is something I fail miserably at, okay? Because I'm happy just to keep chatting with whoever's here. and my live streams could just keep going and going and going. I finish my main points. We veer off onto random topics, get totally sidetracked. It's kind of what happens here. But if you want a different kind of experience for your audience, you need to understand when that end time is. And if you have a hard out, so like I have to be finished in 60 minutes, 60 minutes is the absolute longest I can go, or I exactly want to be at 60 minutes every single time, that's what you can do. I know on my Thursday live streams, I have a 2-hour limit. So unless I'm really sick or unless I've got to travel or I've got an appointment somewhere, I go for 2 hours on that channel every week. And that's what I do there. Here I aim for an hour. Sometimes we make it, sometimes we don't, sometimes we push over it. I try to keep this a little bit more fluid based on what's happening in the chat. Because for me, I live stream to chat with you guys, to chat in the chat, to see what you guys are struggling with, to see what you guys have learned, to see where you guys have had your wins. That's why I'm live streaming. It's not just, sure, I'm starting the stream off with this poignant conversational topic starter. Don't know. That's the goal. But that's not where we end. That's not how these streams finish off. So you need to know where you want your stream to end, or whether, like you normally do have a heart out, but you've got time and the chat's just having a blast and you're having a blast. Does it actually have to end? You get to make that decision as well. You might want to run a poll in your chat. Like, if we go for another 20 minutes, will you hang around? Like have these conversations with your audience. You want to make sure it's worthwhile you being there, or you don't want to be wasting your viewers' times. You get to make those decisions yourself. So we've got these sorts of things, right? Now, one of the points that I had here, because I wasn't actually going to go into the whole copyright thing when I did, I was going to do it more here at the end of this, towards the end of this thing. But one of the things that I really wanted to really just drive home is when you are showing comments on screen, okay? So like, I'm quite happy to show like live stream here talking about being ventilated and then used for fertilizer. That's actually cool. You've got Doug here with with his comments as well. But what I want to point out is have a look at the icons. So you can see LSC for live stream consultants. You can see Doug's face here. You can see Leanne's face here. Something that is really important to point out is when you are showing comments on the screen, YouTube isn't just looking at those comments to make sure that they're not going against terms of service. They're looking at the icons, the imagery, the photo. Now, some of us here know about what happened with StreamYard a few years ago, which was they were doing a live stream. They had this particular chatters had some very good questions, so the question was brought up on screen. And what nobody really realized at the time was how inappropriate the icons were. That channel was taken down because they brought those comments on screen. Like, they brought multiple comments on stream. 3 of those are 3 community guideline strikes, and your channel is automatically deleted. So when you are, if you're one of these people that just have your comments rolling down your screen, make sure that those icons are either not clearly visible or you've done something to negate how that happens, because you are allowing that into your stream, and that could cost you not just your stream, but also potentially your channel. Now, some people are like, I should be able to have whatever I want, but no. There are community guidelines, and these community guidelines don't just affect YouTube channel content providers like myself, but they also affect those of you who comment in live streams. So keep an eye on those icons. And the other problem is I'm a blindo, right? I'm getting on. I've got my stronger prescription reading glasses now. Sometimes it's a little hard to see what those icons are. If you can't trust what that icon is, maybe don't put it on screen. You can read out the question instead. If it's a great question, you can read it out. You don't have to bring it on screen. Okay. Now, let me just have a look here. Livestream consultant says using the same techniques as I clicked it. Clicking. There it is. Using the same techniques as a VOD in the sense of rehooking the viewer multiple times throughout and then paying it off at the end, but with addressing the live chat, or just upload it as a premiere. And this is the thing. You have to know the differences between these things. You have to know how to continuously hook people, how to draw, like have open-ended hooks. And so that all the hooks, you think about your favorite YouTube videos, the ones that really just suck you in and make you watch the whole 45 minutes, you know, and you think about that, but think about it not from an entertainment perspective, but go and watch that video and look and you go, oh, there's an open-ended hook. Oh, there's an open-ended hook. Or they've closed that first hook, but that hook's still open. There's another open-ended hook. And the channels with the great storytelling and the ability to keep you hooked like this, it's because they're opening new hooks, slowly closing some so you get some little payoffs throughout the video. And then you get to the end and then hopefully they've closed all the hooks. Now, hopefully, it doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes they're like, well, then you'll need to come back next week. And you're just like, ah. It's a bit like a cliffhanger of a TV series, all right? Leaving that open-ended hook. Oh, hush, you young whippersnapper. Some days I don't feel quite so whippersnapperish. Oh, my goodness. Now, believe it or not, I actually had to change my shirt before my live stream because I took a drink and just missed my mouth. So, better success that time, you know. Yay. Okay, so keeping an eye on the comments that you're bringing on screen as well. Now, I'm going to mention this thing, and I know I've mentioned it before, 100 times before, probably, is how you're choosing your moderators. So when it comes to dealing with the trolls and the conversations and things like that all the way through these streams, having a moderator is a good idea. Having someone that you trust is a good idea. Having people that you can rely on is a good idea. Choosing multiple people so that if someone's not there, especially if you're not paying your moderators, right? So if you're paying a moderator to be there, you expect them to be there, right? It's their job to be there. But when you have volunteer moderators, people who you're not paying cash money to be there, these people have lives, jobs, other things that are important to them. They may not be able to make it to your live stream, no matter how dedicated they are. They just may not be able to make it. And if your live streams are running at a weird time, they could straight up fall asleep like I did on Saturday night. I just fell asleep. I had a very big weekend. I was exhausted. I'd been moving furniture and building shelves and I was just shattered. I sat on the couch and then woke up on the couch and went, oh my God, and had a shower and went to bed. Sometimes this stuff happens, right? But if you are paid to be somewhere, that's a totally different ball dropping right there. Understanding that like Doug's just put here, a shield comes with a responsibility, or a wrench if you're still seeing wrenches, but it comes with responsibility. But it also comes with the ability to do things, okay? Now, one of the things that I really want to point out is, let me know in the chat if you've ever been in one of those streams where they mod everybody so they can have the sea of blue. Because I've seen those chats. And my first thought is, oh my gosh, do they have any idea what they've just done? Do they have any idea what they have done? Because giving people the shield or wrench, making them either a moderator or a managing moderator. Managing moderator is even more terrifying when they make random people managing moderators. Moderators are channel moderators. They're not live stream moderators. They can moderate any content on your channel. They can go into the comments areas of any of your videos and remove comments. Now, yes, they've got a few less. They can't block people and stuff like that from the commentary, but they can absolutely remove the comments. And as we all know, sometimes different comments are what helps a channel to grow. Different, like different questions, different reasonings, different suggestions, even just positive notes. Those comments are gone. And it changes the tone And so it changes the tone in a live stream, and it can change the tone in the comments area of your videos. Giving these people that you don't know a reward for attending your live stream could cost everything. It could change the entire feel of everything. And you don't have that control as a streamer. Your control, every time you make a moderator, you give a little bit of your, creative voice to a moderator. Now, both Doug and Leanne have been moderators for a long time. Leanne has been a moderator over on my Fiberific channel for a really long time. Doug moderates for the best, right? Doug's out there. I'm just blown away that he makes the time to moderate on these streams. Doug moderates for the best. And when you make somebody a managing moderator, the tools that they have at their disposal are so much more. The biggest one, and it's a security risk, is if you give a random that you don't know a managing moderator, which I hope no one is doing, because they can read your block words list. So if you've got any personal information in there that you didn't want added into your chat, like your street address or your real name or your social security number or your phone number or any of that sort of stuff, if you've put any of that into your block words list, your managing moderators can read that. So you sure as heck want to trust those people. They want to be people you have vetted to the highest level if you are giving them basically the keys to your house. So you need to be so careful who you are giving these things. These aren't a reward for attendance. These are a responsibility you're bestowing upon somebody. And I sure as heck hope you're asking them before you give it to them. So, yeah. Sorry. I saw another stream this week where they were just gifting out the mod wrenches or shields to everybody, and it made me rant. It did make me rant. I'm sorry. But I just don't think people understand what they're doing. They think it's fun. They think it's funny. And I sure as heck hope they're going in and jumping into their settings and going over to their moderation box and removing all of those people so they have access to nothing after that live stream. Seriously. It is just horrific. Livestream Consultants has also seen the full blue live streams. Leanne's Craft Room has as well. Now, I've been in live streams where it has been a full sea of blue of comments because there was like 4 of the moderators were there and no one else was really commenting. The moderators were trying to get the conversation going. I've seen that. That's a little bit different. But when you've got like 20 or 30 people in a chat and everybody's got a wrench, you're just like, oh my gosh. I'm going to have to change that because people don't have wrenches anymore. They have blue blobs. They have blue blobs. Gosh, I also don't like the blue blob. With the tools that YouTube has at its ability, like at its availability, they have all of these amazing designers and people doing all this fantastic stuff. They've got access to the top graphic designers in the world, and this is what they come up with. I don't think they got a designer for this task. I think somebody just went, there we go, make a blue. They did it in paint. They did it in MS Paint, and that's it. That's how it looks anyway. Livestream Consultant says, it's soapbox time. We need live stream only moderators. I agree. I think you should absolutely have the ability to make somebody a live stream only moderator. For sure. Absolutely. They truly do not realize the power of all of those moderators. Yeah. I mean, all it takes is for those moderators to all be friends with each other and just go in and you know, they could remove every comment from videos. They could literally go in and just remove every single comment from the videos. Let's have a look here. Oh, look, those Mark Rober squirrel videos. I didn't know who Mark Rober was until those squirrel videos, honestly. And now I'm just like, oh my gosh. Doug says, some would say mod powers are unnatural. Look, there is definitely, I don't know if this is where you were going with this, Doug, but there's definitely a subsection of people out there in the YouTube world who feel that, well, I've actually been called a fascist because I'm a moderator. So, you know, you're just like, really? Okay. Now, I really do want to say that the level of moderation that you put into a live chat really does need to depend on the kind of content you're making and the kind of channel that you have and the kind of audience that you have brought to yourself. Like, it's always going to change. It's always going to be different depending on the channel. So I have, like, my rules for this channel is keep it friendly, keep it PG-13, just so that, you know, one day when this channel's monetized, we could actually stay monetized. And like, don't self-promote. Also, you know, if you diss the mod, you're out. It's that simple. If any mod feels like that somebody is in here seriously, like not jokingly, being disrespectful to the moderators or even to myself, that's instant bootage. That's instant bootage. Doug says, facts. Yeah. Amazing Yacht Destination. So good to see you. If you're a mod for someone's channel and they pivot their channel and now you're not into that new content, should you resign? You could contact the channel owner and go, hey, you know, thanks for making me a mod, but, you know, could you please remove me? I don't actually watch your content anymore, and I don't want you to think you've got all these mods when you know you're missing one. And this absolutely, I wish I could remove myself. I don't understand why we have to contact the channel owner to be removed as a moderator. You know, it's one of those things. I don't understand. I would love in the back end of my channel for there to be a page somewhere where you can see on which channels you're a moderator, which channels you're a managing moderator, and a remove yourself button. Remove me, because I've been made moderator on channels that I'm just like, wait, what? I get messages, oh, I've made you managing moderator on my channel. And I'm just like, why? I don't know you. I don't know anything about your content. I've never made it to one of your live streams. You're in a time zone where the chances of me ever making it to your live stream is really low. What? No, take me out. And they're like, no, I'd love to have you be my managing moderator. And you're just like, no, I don't want that pressure, because I know what it means. I know what they've done. They don't know what they've done. I know what they've done, and I don't want that. I don't want it. I'm happy to be managing moderator for a few channels, and I have discussions with people. I'm managing moderator over on Doug's channel, and a couple of other channels that I actually like work for. But I don't want managing moderator from random. I don't want moderator from random channels. Doug says he had one comment that he had to remove from his vertical stream on Saturday. It was a drive-by political comment pointing at the monarchy of all things. Isn't it weird? Like, out of everything going on, it's like some sort of monarchy thing. That's hilarious. I mean, that would be funny, but also annoying. I've actually started going in and adding some block words to some of the block words list on the channels that I work for and on my channels. Just like, obviously, if on the channels that I work for, I always check first with the channel owner. Like, hey, are you happy for me to do this? And a lot of it is just, especially because I don't work on political channels. So I add in words that mean that political conversation is harder, because that's not what you're here for. We're not here for political conversations. I don't watch any of the channels I watch for political conversations. And so, you know, if it's not a political channel, let's make it so that we don't have to, you know, have your moderators in there just going, hey, come on guys, this is not a political conversation. You know, we're talking about yarn. And I do just want to specify, yarn is in essence a fun way to do political stuff, but I do, you know, on my channel I do have conversations about it, and it is a yarn channel. So, But if you're on a channel that is never mentioned it before, and then and it's off topic in the chat, that's what's more important. It's off topic in the chat. So remove it, add it to the block words list. Doug thirds the request to remove oneself as a moderator from someone's channel. I would love that ability. Was it Neil Mohan this week posted out a thing like, hey, what's one thing that you would, what's one feature or thing that you would love to see on a homepage or recommended that would make life better for you as a viewer? And I'm sort of sitting there thinking, where's the question about moderation? Like, what's the one thing that you could wish you had as a moderator? Because I'd just be like, and I know, we've been able to give like Renee some direct feedback, but Doug, did you hear anything on any of our question? Because I haven't heard a single thing, and I haven't noticed a single thing. So either it takes a really long time, or it was just a, make them feel like we're listening kind of request. That's how it feels to me. So, yeah, but that's where my brain instantly goes as well. Like that's legitimately like an on me thing. So, not from Renee. Okay. Yeah, I definitely haven't heard from Renee. And do you know what I really love as a moderator, as a managing moderator? I'd love to be able to utilize the managing moderator tools on a desktop. I don't understand why they're not on a desktop. I don't get why they're mobile only. I don't get it at all. It means that I actually have to divert my attention away. Like I moderate some pretty fast moving chats. I have to divert my attention away. And to go to my phone, to open stuff up, to find the thing I need to do, when I could just be like here with, with the chat right there and click, click, done, added. But no, I have to look away. And in these fast moving chats, looking away is not always ideal. So no, that's all right. I don't need it. I don't need to see another all blue chat. I've seen them, but I appreciate the offer. But yeah, I would like to see the managing moderator tools in a place where most managing moderators use it. I know some people mod from their phones. I don't understand how they can mod from their phones with any great success, as you can't tag on a phone. So yeah, sure, you can remove comments and you can block people, but you can't tag them. You can't respond to comments by tagging people. You've got to type out their whole name. Make a decision. Either be able to do everything on a phone or everything on desktop, or how about both? Have everything available to both. That would be great. Then those people that mod from phones can have access to everything, and those of us that mod from desktop can have access to everything. That's what I'd like. I think that deserves a soapbox. Because it really irritates me, because sometimes I'll be like, I'm really tired or I'm really sore. That's not usually more what it is. I'm really sore and I need to lay flat on my bed. I've got busted up knees and sometimes they're just too sore, and I don't want to take pain relief because I'm not planning on going to sleep yet. I just want to be flat. And I can't do it from my phone or my iPad. I've either got to somehow lay there with a laptop on my chest, which doesn't really work. I just want to point that out. It doesn't really work. Or just lose the ability to tag people on a phone. I just don't understand why it's so hard. There's obviously something very technically difficult, or they would have fixed it by now with the sheer number of people complaining about it. I would think. There has to be some back-end thing in the live chat on mobile phone that just makes it impossible. I really did think that when they moved us all over to our channel handles, that was a precursor to being able to tag on mobile. But we've been on channel handles for a bit now and we still can't tag on mobile. So I don't know. I don't know what the problem is. I'm not an engineer. I know nothing of the YouTube code. They're probably sitting there going, oh my God, they have no idea how hard this is. I don't have any idea how hard it is. I really don't. and there's so many interconnected systems, and I can imagine it's like a bowl of spaghetti, where this is the at, and over here in the bottom of the sauce is the the tagging on mobile, and finding their way to each other without splitting off or breaking. I can imagine it is more difficult than I imagine. Oh dear. Yes, Leanne would love add-on mobile. Absolutely. Wouldn't it make life so much easier, Leanne? Especially if you've got to pop out or you need to go and do something and you just got to take your phone with you. But I don't feel like I can do my job properly without being able to tag people. So I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, honestly. But anyway, I actually managed to make it to the bottom of my notes, which was good. Maybe a little bit out of order, but we got through everything. Let me know, was any of those sort of mental loads anything that you personally have to think or think about before you live stream? So whether it's finding the topic, or being prepared for conversation, being prepared for disagreeing voices, being prepared for trolls, keeping things interesting, and knowing when you're going to keep the live stream going, and also importantly, knowing when you're going to end the live stream. Let me know in the chat if you come across any of those things as sort of the reason why you may or may not be live streaming. I know there's some people that did live stream and then stopped because the chat was just too aggressive. The chat was really negative and they had some serious trolls. I remember there was a lady, she was spinning yarn, and she was in a group. I can't remember which group it was in. I think it was one that Doug and I both in. I think we both looked at it. And her chat was entirely made up of trolls. There was not a single kind comment. And it was moving. That they were having a field day because she didn't have anyone in there blocking them or removing their comments or any of that sort of stuff. They didn't have any of that. So the trolls just kept going. And because she couldn't see her chat properly because of what she was doing, she would look up and then just see it and then just be devastated and just try to ignore it and keep going with her planned live stream. But yeah, live streaming with, living with Parkinson's says, I think what's going to help me is writing out a script for my live streams because I do have a slight speech issue due to my Parkinson's. Yeah, look, I have a stutter and I get stuck, and when I'm tired or sore or, various triggers make it worse. And it's been progressively getting worse over the last few months, which is frustrating. It's frustrating. Even just some notes just to help me. I mean, like, my handwriting is awful, but even just some notes to help you track back when you lose where you're up to as well, because the one of the advantages of live streaming is that it is a fluid thing. So sometimes the chat will come in with their own questions, but yeah, definitely being prepared, and even like having a script written and you having gone over it in your mind a few times so you know where you want to go with it. And even if the chat is asking questions, you can go back to it, but I highly recommend having it in front of you. So that you can sort of just look down. So whether it's on another device, a laptop or an iPad, or I'm old school, I like a pen and paper, as I've got like 4 notebooks and 3 different types of pens on my desk. Just whatever it is that works for you, and test out a couple of things. For me, I'm better with bullet points rather than the full thing, because otherwise I get lost in reading that myself. I realized that when I was writing scripts for my teleprompter, that if I was writing the full word for word for word for word, it looked like I was reading the full word for word for word for word for word. Whereas if I just put in a bullet point, I could, that. And because I've, understand what I want to talk about, you put in a bullet point, have that section. Next bullet point, have the next section. And then if you do what I do, which is just jump to the bottom and talk about freedom of speech right in the middle instead of waiting till you got there, because there's always trolls who want to have a go. But yeah, let's have a look here. Being prepared for trolls can always be an issue, especially if you have no being prepared for trolls can always be an issue, especially if you have no moderators to drop the hammer on them. Yeah. And it can play with your brain. If you know you're wading into this alone and you know that there's a good chance trolls are going to rock up, then you have to sort of mentally prepare yourself for that battle. Because whether it is you actually physically removing their comments or just having to sit there with them rolling through and you reading them out of your peripheral and trying to ignore them, which I don't recommend because that actually diminishes the experience for those who are watching on replay and those that are watching in the live chat that may or may not be commenting because they're afraid of the trolls as well. Or they just don't want to deal with the trolls. They don't want to like, oh man, if I put this comment in that I think what they're doing is great, the trolls are just gonna, so when you are dealing with trolls, you're not just dealing with them for yourself, you're dealing with them for your audience. So you think about what kind of experience you want your audience to have and you protect them. And that's how I see it, is when I'm out there moderating, I'm protecting the community from the trolls. I'm protecting the community from negative vibes. I'm usually only working on pretty positive or educational channels. So there's no one really like monetizing the negativity because I don't think I could work for a channel that did that. I'll be really honest. And there's definitely channels out there that do that and have great success, and that's great for them. I'm not the kind of moderator that could work on those sorts of channels. There are definitely people out there that could though, for sure. Because no matter what kind of channel you've got, there's going to be something that's over the line for you, or over the line for your audience. And you need to have someone in there sort of keeping an eye on that. I really don't recommend live streaming without some backup, especially when you're first learning, even if it's just a friend in the chat, just have some backup. Organize for somebody that you know and that you trust to be there. Give them the mod wrench or shield or whatever it is, depending on the platform that you're on. This needs to be a person you trust inherently because they're going to have your back. I definitely feel that both Doug and Leanne in these chats and the other moderators I have here, so Justin Brown and Andrew Can, I absolutely feel without a shadow of doubt that all of you have my back. If you're in my chat and somebody is inappropriate, I know for a fact that someone will deal with it because I trust that you have my back. And I am hoping that the people I moderate for have that same level of trust in me, because that's what being a moderator is about. It's about having the streamers back and protecting the community. And if your community is so negative that you feel that you can't stream, you need to get some moderation in there, and you need to, as a streamer, set some ground rules so that your moderators know where they stand as well. Anyway, that's a lot. That's an absolute lot. And let me, like, we that was some depth. It felt like some depth anyway. I don't know if you felt that. I felt that. And those of you that have been around here for a long time, you guys know how I feel about moderation, and you know how I feel about those that abuse moderation tools and those that just ignore the fact that they could be moderating. That's just you're an ostrich. You're burying your head in the sand. Seriously. I'm going to drink some coffee. Because coffee and antihistamines together are awesome. Yeah, I got through all of that. It was a pretty serious one. That's why I had some pretty... That was like living with Parkinson. This is actually solid notes for me. This is like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I wrote so many notes. I'm normally like so much like more like vague in my own notes to myself. I needed them. I needed them for sure. Oh my gosh. But yeah, it's coffee. Absolutely. The coffee is good. I got a new coffee machine, you guys. I don't know if I told you about it. I now have a Ninja coffee machine, and I was a bit dubious about it, but the more I read about it, the more I looked at it, the more I was like, you know what? For the price point, I'm going to check it out. But I'm so glad I did. It makes so much nicer coffee than my old coffee machine does. We're putting exactly the same beans in, exactly the same water in. You know, it's, well, maybe not exactly the same, but the beans are from the same company, you know, and they're the same blends of beans. The individual beans are different. So it does not look like R2D2, the coffee machine. No, it's, you could Google it. It's just a Ninja, you know, like the Ninja blenders, but the Ninja coffee machine. And what it is it's supposed to, because it's got a bit of like AI in it, which is actually a bit annoying right at the start. But what it's doing is it's fine tuning so you don't make yourself a bad cup of coffee. And we've had, because of how we like to make our coffee here, we like to have like a long black that we add our own milk into, but we don't like the long blacks where they just put the shot of coffee in the bottom and then fill the rest with water. We actually like the water to pump through the basket of coffee grounds so that at least you've got coffee-esque flavored water. Anyway, we think the new machine is extracting coffee better than the old one ever did. And it is so much nicer. The coffee is nicer, everything. We're very happy with it. We're very happy. The Star Trek replicator. Oh my gosh. I can't wait until we can have a Star Trek replicator in our houses instead of a kitchen. Seriously. I know some people love cooking, and like there are moments when I enjoy cooking. If I could just walk up and go, oh, what do I feel like for dinner tonight? Oh yeah, I'll have that. And just ask the replicator, hey, can I please have blah, 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 blah. And, you know, but with no, you know, tomato or whatever it is. But yeah, it's just something I wish I didn't have to deal with anymore. Yeah. I'm going to assume you said my first 2 live streams were complete disasters, but I'm going to say how this next one goes tomorrow. I'm going like on history of Parkinson's disease, and I've got a script. Yeah, especially if you want to point out like particular things, having a script for those, like you're doing history, so you're going to have dates, specifics, and you don't want to miss that, you know? You don't want to miss any of that. Yeah, Earl Grey hot. I would be like, Earl Grey, medium heat, so I don't burn the roof off my mouth. It comes with the master India to chop all the beans when she's not looking. I mean, it sounds like there's someone in there chopping the beans. Oh, there you go. There you go. You fixed that up. That's cool. Oh, okay. So you did retract that one, but my software didn't retract it. Okay. No, that's cool. We'll put the right one up. Get that one. Get it back up there. Now, one thing I do want to say is those of you that are still here, massive shout out to Doug, right? So this week my brain was failing, as we all know it happens. And for the life of me, I could not find how to connect my Buy Me a Coffee to how we put the comments in. Because a couple of weeks ago, Doug and I know who the second one was, but 2 of you sent me through coffees and I totally missed that they came through. Like, because I have all the audio going through my Rodecaster and then that's plugged into headphones, no headphones on, I don't hear anything. So if I'm focusing either on the camera or on the chat, I don't see it pop up and I miss it. And I feel awful because I don't want you to think I'm not grateful, because I'm supremely grateful. And so Doug didn't just send me to the document that I already had that I couldn't do. Doug actually jumped on and helped me step by step work out how to do it. and it wasn't actually all just me, which was nice. It was nice to know it wasn't just me. But now we do have, hopefully, if it's still working, we do have the Buy Me a Coffee integrated in with the Social Stream Ninja so that it comes up in my list of comments that somebody's bought a coffee. So that hopefully will mean that I never have to accidentally feel like an awful human for not having noticed a coffee come in, because I felt awful. I really did. I really felt awful. You need oh, hang on. Let me just... You need a flashy red beacon that comes on in the room when you get a buy me a coffee. I've got a Google controlled light above me that would be amazing if it could like flash off and on red or something like that, really obvious. But as we've learnt from Doug, because Doug's got his set up with, have you got your blue light that you used to have set up like Alexa would flash it for you? But it's like a 15-minute delay, or it could be. Doug is testing. Doug Houston bought a coffee. Thank you, Doug. I very much appreciate you popping that in and testing it out. So there we go. So it doesn't come into the main chat. It comes into the chat that I can bring comments on screen for. But I seriously appreciate Doug jumping in and helping with that, because I knew he'd done it. And I was just like, Doug, I know you did this. And I cannot work out where this particular thing is. It says go here and click this, and it's like that thing that they want you to click is not there. So yeah, it was a bit of like, you know, my brain was melting, but he definitely. Oh, play the jingle. I think I have to manually play the jingle now. Is it the coffee? Let me just. I don't even know. Let me just check if that's the coffee time jingle there. Well, I mean, it says coffee time jingle, but it didn't play. No, I'm going to have to work out why the coffee time jingle doesn't play. Because it's not even coming through the Rodecaster into the mix. Did it come into the mix? Because usually I can see it.
Yes, it's coffee time.
Oh, there we go. I found it. I found which slider needed to go up.
Cappuccino. Jabba. Yes.
There we go. Did you hear it that fourth time that I punched something? There we go. There it is. Oh, my camera just turned off. What's your problem? Seriously? I'm not sure why my camera just died, but it is gone. So let's just do something here. Yeah, time for the backup. So I don't know why my other camera literally just died. So this is not in a good position. So let me just try and get that balanced. That's awful. There we go. Oh my gosh, Facecam is failing. Yeah, it's been a hot minute since we've had to worry about Facecam. Let me just see if I can get this better. So Chantelle's been sucked into a black hole. It does feel like that. It feels like that. Yeah, the BRB scene would have been perfect for this. Absolutely, it would have been. I've got a little webcam that I've just thrown on because I knew it was on and running. I could see it if I just could move it to a position where it was a bit better. It's not the greatest framing. Like, let's be honest here. There we go. That's better framing. I need my tissue. So there we go. I don't know why my camera just turned off, but it did. And I'll have to look into that. I have actually, because it uses a battery, but it's, you know, with mains power charging through the battery. And this happened a little while ago, and it turned out the battery was totally dead. But I have just recently bought an actual mains power dummy battery for this camera. So, and when I was doing all this shelf shuffling, I actually was like, I'm going to put that box right here so that I know where that is. So yeah. We've got that. Let me just see if I can I zoom this out? I think I can. I think I can zoom it out just a little. There we go. Nope, that's it. That's all we've got. So, you know, a little bit of zoom at least. Let me just, and I can't push that back anymore, I don't think, because of the kind of arm that it's on. Anyway, let me just reach over and grab my coffee. So So yeah, so knowing when to end our stream, hey? Thanks stream for giving us the message of when it's time to go. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the face cam is visiting. Yeah, many years ago, Leanne, as Leanne would know, I used to have a Canon M6, and it was the Mac ones, and it was it was definitely it had that 30-minute shut off, like, so every 30 minutes it would turn off and you would have to turn it back on, to the point where I made merch that was like face, because the chat would just all of a sudden just stop and just be like everyone just yelling face cameras off, and I'd just be like, but no, I think this is a battery issue, so hopefully it is. Cross your fingers, it's the issue. Admittedly, this camera has had pretty heavy use since 2019. Pretty heavy use, so they don't run forever. They do run a good long time. Time to make a B-Ride back screen that shows you beating the life out of a digital camera for stressful and just spinning around going, we're having technical difficulties. That would be fun. That would be fun, I think. Yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's a perfectly fine alternative. It's not framed exactly how I'd like it. I feel like I'm on a bit of an angle, but whatever. I don't care. We're still going. Took a little second. I probably should have just flashed the B right back up, and then I could have jiggery-pokeryed it a bit more, but this is fine, right? This is fine. I'm going to have some more coffee. Henry, great to see you in the chat. I'm doing good. My camera just failed and we're on to a webcam, but other than that, doing great. As we said, the tech is important. It's just not as important as we think. Time to get you a Sony A7S. They're not too expensive, even with a lens. Yes, they are. Let me just like, don't forget, I have to convert to Australian dollars here. Oh no, I'm not having decaf. Like seriously, no. I'm in Australia. It's only 11 a.m. here. It's not late night. A7S. Let's have a look at what an A7S price is in Australia. Okay, an A7S Mark III body only is $3,785. That is a lot. I pay, just for context, I paid about $1,200 for my Sony A6400, which I love to pieces, and I would probably try and find another Sony A6400 if I could, if they're still being sold and made. I'm just going to check that. They're probably not. Knowing my luck, it's like, oh, the thing you love is gone. Oh, there you go. A Sony A6400 currently on sale for 800 Australian dollars. So that's more my budget. I don't want to spend that either. Oh, not the Mark III and original A7S. I don't know if Sony A7S original. I'm just going to see if anything comes up. And just so you know, I don't buy secondhand camera gear. I don't know enough about it to make sure I'm not buying a lemon. And so unless I'm getting it from someone who I trust, I buy new. I know that seems very elitist. I just keep saving, because knowing my luck, I would buy something, I would end up with something that didn't work and be out of pocket. I can't see anywhere here that's selling the A7S. I am just having a quick look. I will be honest. That's pre-owned. Pre-owned. They're all secondhand. I can't see an original-ish one for sale. They're all like secondhand. So yeah. Amazing our destination. See you later. See you next time. Have an awesome week. But yeah, it's I do look at the, like, do any of you run the Sony, like the ZV-E10s or the ZV-E1s or whatever they are now? Like, I hear good things, but I definitely want to be able to put a fixed lens on it. So it's the ZV E10 that's the fixed lens, right? Yeah. Sorry, the interchangeable lens, not the fixed lens. Yeah. See, that's secondhand. I'm not going to buy a secondhand one. As I said, like when I buy secondhand stuff, and I don't like I can buy a secondhand spinning wheel and I can buy a secondhand knitting machine because I can strip those guys down and rebuild them from the ground up. I know how to fix them. When it comes to cameras, I don't know enough about them to feel confident if I have to to make sure I've bought something that works. And I don't trust people I don't know. I've seen too many people get scammed, and I can't afford to be scammed. I can afford to pay for something once, not twice. And so I'm not going to risk a second handy off eBay. So the ZVE 10s are the ones with the interchangeable cameras, and I can buy a body brand new. Oh, I can have it in white or black, for $9.50. So Australian. This is all in Australian dollars, just so you know. So like, I think 3,700 Australian dollars would be closer to like 2,800 US dollars. Livestream consultant says, just remember the E10 is a crop sensor as opposed to the A7 series full frame, but the A6400 is a crop sensor as well. So I'm used to a crop sensor. So yeah. Yeah, Doug says it's been a hot minute since I've looked at cameras. Me too, Doug. Me too. Like I've got the setup that I'm loving. I use my Brio as an over the head shot usually, so it's always set up. So that's what I'm using right now as my backup camera. I've got my trusty, non-reliable A6400 that has just gone the poo poos. And I recently got gifted an OBSBot Tail Air 2. Tail Air 2? Is that what you are? Is it written on you anywhere? No. Anyway, I've got one of those. So I've got some camera options. I still have my M6 Mark 1 Canon that turns off every 30 minutes. I still have that. And I also have my Canon A70D, my very first proper camera that I bought for content creation. I had another camera when I first started. It had not been purchased for content creation. It didn't do great. It was a It was a Nikon. It was a bridging camera. I know that much. So it didn't have an interchangeable lens. So yeah. You've got the Micro Four 3 Lumix G7. Can't wait to get the A7s. Big jump in image quality in low light. Yeah, and I like to have like the lower light just because my eyes aren't great with bright light, but at the same time I like it to look not too low light because it's quite often I'm showing how to do like this doesn't matter so much, but on the live streaming for Fiberific, I need to want my hands to be at least a bit brighter. So yeah. But yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I probably just need to change the battery. This battery that's been in it has been in it for, a good 18 months, just constantly getting charged and run out. And I've got 4 of them, so I can just change it out. So I can do that. But funnily enough, I actually found that the last one, because I actually drew like a little sad face with little crosses in its eyes and wrote "dead" next to it, all in gold marker on this battery, just so I should have just ditched it, but no, I've kept it. It's a souvenir. Doug says that his Canon M50s and his M52 have been rock solid. Only issue, the Canon drivers for newer macOS are non-existent unless you pay. Thank goodness for Ecamm. I mean, and that's something I love about Ecamm is its ability. Ecamm is the live streaming software that I'm currently using. And its ability to just bring in cameras. So when I'm live streaming and I want to do spinning, so when I'm spinning wool on a spinning wheel, I need to utilize my older Canon. So my Canon 70D. I need to utilize that into the camera setup because the webcam doesn't really cut it for the spinning wheel. So I bring in the Canon 70D on a tripod, and Ecamm can make that into a, like, there's nothing there. So if you need to make a battery gallows, I absolutely do. I absolutely do. Or like batteries on pikes. I think a little row of batteries on pikes could be a good look. Yeah, it could totally be the thing. Not morbid at all. Not disappointed in the fact that my battery died like midway through a live stream, and it is charging. It is connected to mains power. It's just done its dash. They don't last forever like that. But as I said, I do have a an option that I just recently purchased. I actually purchased it a little while ago, but I hadn't done anything with it. That is actually not one of the rechargeable batteries. It's the fake batteries. Yeah, batteries on pikes. Oh man, yelp. And it could be like a like looking at the camera. We just put it somewhere where it's just straight vision through it, so the camera knows this is what's going to happen to your battery if you let it die. It's going over here. We'll have an empty pike waiting for a battery. Yeah, with a little, we could hang little signs around their little battery, not next, but, you know, something. I'd have to sticky tape it on the back with just like, you know, died in the middle of a live stream. How dare you, you know. If you hadn't have died, it would have been a hanging offence. But yeah, we could have some fun with that. That could absolutely be a good time. That could be so much fun. And because I have a craft channel, we could totally make them in a live stream on a craft channel. Oh no, that would be awful and fun. I think I have to do it. I got 2 now. I'm gonna have 2. So yeah. Oh, this is awful. You guys are bad, right? You know that, don't you? Ah, yuppers. Yep. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's a lot, right? It's a lot. It's a lot. All right. Well, on that note, let's make a death thing for my Fiverific channel of the graveyard of battery. That's the other option. We could just make a little graveyard with little stones and grass. That could be another option as well, and just have their little corners of the batteries peeking out. Absolutely, we could do it. I know that would be awesome. Craft on the other channel, and you could even get monetized for it. Absolutely, I could. I could be like raising money for the next battery. How much is a? I don't even know how much they are. Let me just look. Sony A6400 batteries. Let's have a squizzy squiz. That's the small rig version. Where's the Sony ones? They're like $90. Because I've got a couple of the newer ones, and the newer one of the newer ones failed straight away. So I got a 2-pack, and one was just a dud. Or at least it wouldn't work. The battery charger says it was anyway, I'll play with that. I bought another battery charger so I can play with it. But yeah, so I can totally we could have some fun with that. Oh gosh. We could have a vote. Do we do the gallows, the pikes, or a little graveyard with like little stones? Leanne says I can see that going viral. Little Crafty Nook, you have come in just as we were discussing the punishment for the batteries in my cameras when they fail. We've had to switch over to a webcam because my A6400 battery just failed. Even though it's plugged into mains power and it was getting charged, it had been doing that a long time. So it's, you know, they don't do that forever. But yeah, it's definitely oh. This could be a fun live stream. It could be bad. There you go. Do a GoFundMe on the channels. Definitely the Pikes. You're up for the Pikes. I'll have to advertise when I'm going to go live with this particular plan so you can come in and vote. Yes. Oh my goodness. All right. On that note, I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to call it. You see, like Leanne wants Pikes. Little Crafty Nook wants the Gallows. See, we're going to have to run a full poll. Take a day off work for that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This could be just so much fun. Because I'm not vindictive at all when it comes to my tech and when it comes to things failing me. All right, my friends, I will catch you all. Actually, no, beforehand, I'm not going to be live streaming next week. I'm not going to be in town. I'm going away for a week. So I'm not going to be streaming on either channel next week. So I've got Fiberific this Thursday, but then that's the last stream until the week after. I'm away for 7 days. So not Monday coming, not Sunday coming for those in the US, or Monday in Australia. It'll be the one after. I don't know the dates. It's like the 23rd or something. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. That'll be the next one. So, yeah. Just send a couple of pics. Oh my gosh. Alrighty, my friends. I will catch you all next time. Be good now.